To get started, I'm going to show you the Blob Brush tool. The shortcut is Shift B. It hides under the Paintbrush tool, but it's actually quite different from the Paintbrush tool, which I'll show you over the next few videos. Now, the first thing that's a bit odd about the Blob Brush tool is that it really wants to use the stroke color, not the fill color. Now, I'm going to paint around with this tool a little bit, and you'll see that once I've painted, the fill color disappeared. So really, the Blob Brush tool wants to use strokes, not fills. Now, you can use this to paint shapes, and if you leave a hole in the shape, it will remain a hole, but you can fill that in with a second stroke if you wish. Now, here's the odd bit. When I flick back to the selection tool, it actually has become a fill. So even though you choose a stroke with the Blob Brush tool, it will become a fill once you've finished. Now, if you were to use this tool and have a fill chosen and not a stroke, so you've maybe just selected one of your strokes, then it'll flip that back around as soon as you start using it. So don't become confused, just know this is how the Blob Brush tool works. It's a little different, it's a little unique, but it's a good tool if you want to paint and be ending up with a fill rather than a stroke, a little bit more like Photoshop. It's a little bit of a crossover tool, but of course everything here is still vector artwork. Now, if the tool is not as big or as small as you'd like, you can use the square bracket keys on your keyboard to change the size of the brush, and you can get a lot more control if you double-click on the tool itself. You've got the slider for changing the size. You can also change the angle, and the roundness is important if you're going to change the angle, and those two things can be dragged here as well. So I'll set that to quite a calligraphic shape, and I'll crank that up to smooth, and I'll move down a bit, and here I might try to do a swoopy ribbon like that, and that works pretty well. Remember though that because this is now a fill, I could actually just add a stroke around it. So if I give that yellow and then put a stroke around it, you'll see, yeah, I've made a fill and put then a stroke around it. Sometimes that's useful, sometimes it's not, but it's fine. It's just what the Blob Brush tool does. In the next video, I'm going to show you how the Paintbrush tool works. And the next several videos are also going to focus on the Paintbrush rather than the Blob Brush.